speaker this afternoon. I am Barbara Sexton Smith. I'm the president-elect of the Rotary Club of Louisville, and our president, Ken Salvaggi, is on grandparent duty somewhere in the world. I'm not sure where that is. In London, of all places. And I'm also serving as currently the executive in residence with local federal government, and just recently became a major donor. So thank you to all of my Sarah Hugenberg to the podium, and Sarah is going to is our relationship strategist with PNC Bank and vice chair of the Speakers Committee. Sarah.
Good afternoon, everyone. Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, you have filled our world with love for your creation, our fellow humans, animals, and those animals that become family, our pets. Our lives are fuller, richer, and more abundant because of them. Thank you for the comfort, companionship, and unconditional love they bring to us, and thank you for entrusting us to be their guardians. Let us learn from our pets examples of unconditional love or of unconditional tolerance if you have a cat, and show that same kindness, love, and respect to our fellow humans. Please watch over those working to care for our lost and abandoned animals here in our community, especially the team of the Kentucky Humane Society. In your name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Sarah. And now I invite to join me at the podium Karen Lamberton, a new fellow Rotarian, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance and the four-way test. Karen?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Rotary four-way test.
Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you, Karen. And now, the fun part of our club. Fellow Rotarians, if you have a guest, would you please start making your way to the microphone over here to my left, to your right. And I noticed several guests as I was leading folks coming in. All right, Rick King, you're up. And hey, Rick, we're going to set the stage, buddy, because we have these guidelines over here. And they say, state your name, the role of the organization, and he's already giving me the no, we're not doing it. But look at all these fabulous folks. All right, you ready, set, go, Rick.
My name is Rick King, retired. I have with me two guests from the Unbridled Leave Planning Committee. For the Unbridled Leave, Derby Galen, Mike Lucci is with the Fifth Thirds, and Kristen Moorfield.
And guests, please stand when you are ready, please.
You forgot that stuff.
It's really Alice Bridges, yeah, but she's not here. Vanessa Koenigsmark is the executive director of L Home, and you can ask her what that does.
President Barry Smith, Barbara Sexton Smith. I'm Julie Schmidt, and I work with KET, and really proud to have Toni Clem in the house, and she's on the board of the Kentucky Humane Society, and she does everything. She's doing that. Good afternoon, President David Barbara and fellow Rotarians, A.G. Bailey, HR consultant. I'm happy to welcome Jackie Schwartz here today. She is the founder of Planet Einstein, and it is Center for Excellence in Learning. Thank you.
President-elect Barbara, I'm Rick Arnett. I'm very pleased to have a guest who found us on the internet and is taking a look at Rotary. This is Ashley Ford. She is Community Relations Manager with Pearson's Funeral.
President-elect Barbara, Mike Hawarda, I'd like to introduce my guest, Brenda Wonhauser, Chief Philanthropic Officer at the Foundation of Appalachian, Kentucky. Brenda leads the efforts to connect philanthropic support with communities across Appalachia.
Good afternoon, Rotarians. I am Andre Blasingame. I am a Louisville native, but I've lived in Texas for the last 30 years. I'm a member of the Arlington Sunrise Rotary Club 974, and I'm up here for a visit. I'm a chef by trade, and I just love being back home.
Good afternoon, President-elect Barbara and Rotarians. My parents are here today. Michelle and Dan are here. The entire board. Good afternoon, President-elect Barbara and fellow Rotarians. My name is Lynn Morrison, and I'd like to introduce my guest today, Susan Kemper. She is retired from a long, impressive IT career and is currently an extraordinary volunteer for Gillis Club, especially in our Southern Indiana sites. And she's an animal advocate, a mom to 6 dogs and 3 cats, and is also on the board of Floyd County Animal Rescue. So I knew she would enjoy today.
President-elect Barbara and fellow Rotarians. At my table, I have Lieutenant Joseph Fox, who is over the Criminal Interdiction Division at LMPD, Detective Ivan Haygood, who is the guy that's on the ground addressing all the juvenile violence, and a non-sworn officer, James Rice, who retired from LMPD and came back, and David Kaplan, who's the Chief Counsel for Mayor Greenberg, and I have Nicole McGill, who is the director at the spot where we address the needs of young people 16 to 24. Thank you.
And I want to ask all of our guests visiting today, at the end of the meeting, I hope that you'll take just a few minutes, hop over here. You can see where Cliff is holding up the sign that says, "What is Rotary?" Sit down at the table for a couple minutes and we'll tell you a little bit more about the club. Also want to point out, when Andre introduced himself, I'm not sure if anyone noticed the badge he was wearing. It's the circular badge that I remember we had in 1990, back in the day when I first joined. And I thought for sure, who is this guy from my past? And I'm so excited that you're visiting. Fellow Rotarians, when you travel to other communities, I hope that you will model Andre's behavior and find the club and go visit. All right, we have so many announcements to make, so hang on, Rotarians. I have 8 quick announcements. First, the weekly reading sessions with the 8th grade boys at the West End School is going to be on Mondays at 1:20 from April 13th to May 11th. And we're going to be reading from A Long Walk to Water. And you'll be inspired by the interaction with these bright young scholars, and you can see Walt or Rick for more information and maybe even get a copy of the book. Number 2, we have 2 more Rotary Honors Scholars mentoring sessions, and if you've not done that, I encourage you to just show up because you'll be guided along the way. April 14th is going to be at 8:30 in the morning at Western High School, and on April 22nd, it's early in the morning at Iroquois High School. The third item, we have a few more spots left at the Wednesday Churchill Downs. I got my 2 tickets, and then Lacey bought 4 more tickets, so we got a whole table going. I know Renee Brown has guests coming all the way from Texas, elected officials that are going to be joining us. So y'all jump in here, buy a couple tickets, and come to have some fun on Wednesday, April 29th. You can scan a QR code to purchase the tickets, or you can look on our website, which has all this information. 4, we're expecting 300 plus attendees at the Tri-District Rotary Conference, which is going to be held on May 8th and 9th here in Louisville at the Dollhouse. And I'm going to encourage everyone to please consider coming and participating. There'll be social activities on Friday late afternoon and Friday evening. If you're not interested in those for whatever reason, it's okay. But sign up and come Saturday. Come Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. Now, if you're in for the marathon, it goes until about 9 o'clock that night. You can stay as long or short as you want. But I will say this, I have traveled out of town 5 times in the last year to go to required training Rotary conferences. It is a real treat to have one right here in our city with the entire Commonwealth of Kentucky and the district in Southern Indiana. Plus, our very own fellow Rotarian Mark Hogg, founder and CEO of WaterStep, is going to be one of the keynote speakers. As you've seen the box out where you've got your name tag, we have a box collecting gently used, y'all got that? Gently used, and they can be new shoes, no smelly tennis shoes, okay? And we're collecting shoes, and the goal is to deliver a truckload of shoes to Mark during that tri-district conference. I will say this, I just got back from Chattanooga, and another shoe organization that does water work around the globe, they collected 10,000 pairs of shoes, Ren, in one day. Okay, I don't know if that's our goal or not. Here we go, number 5. May 15th, Larry Sloan and Alisa Gray are hard at work. They got all kind of great things coming to us from the Lifeline Committee. On May 15th, it's going to be our annual Raise the Roof with Habitat for Humanity. And the cool thing about that, you can be up on top, you can be on the ground, you can be in the back, you can run up the ladders, or you can do the one assignment they would give me. I yell, ready, set, go. And they said, because you have the biggest mouth in the crowd. Okay, so then on June 6th, we've got Repair a Fair. Many Rotarians love to come out and spend all or part of the day at Repair a Fair, June 6th. You can see Larry Sloan or Alisa Gray for more details. All right, here we go. Number 7, Craig Sherman, where are you? Stand up, Craig. Thanks to Craig, we're going to have the fabulous outdoor summer social at his home coming up on June 7th on a Sunday. So please register an RSVP for that. And then finally, you'll find all this information on DACDB or on our website. I've added one more announcement because I have the microphone. Actors Theater of Louisville is having their first annual Story Fest right now. You may recall years ago, we brought the entire world to Louisville, Kentucky for the new festival of New American Plays every year. That's no longer happening, but it is my hope and my wish and dream that this story festival can become that. And it's encouraging, I want to encourage you all to go because there is a group of Louisvillians and a director and a playwright led by Anthony Smith that one of the plays are going to take the stage. All right? And it says, we got to be of the people. And Kim Moore is one of the voices in this production. Are you on the stage or is it just your part of the story? Get out of here. Okay, Kim Moore will be signing autographs. Meeting. Okay, she wasn't expecting that. All right, now we also have many committee meetings. I hope that you will pop in. Those of you that have just been recruited to be a committee vice chair or committee chair or co-chair in the coming new year, starting July 1, go ahead and see when the committee meetings that you're going to be a leader on are meeting between now and July, and hop in on those meetings and go to those events so we can hit the ground running. Okay, next. We got a lot of Rotarians in the spotlight. Yes, Rotarians are busy doing things. When you're the 12th largest club in the world, you got a whole lot of people hitting the ground. So we've got Graham Shelby, hit the news last week. He was the master of ceremonies for the annual Story Festival reading or speaking contest that took Story Fest, not to be confused with Story Festival. I caught that. And then 2 of the storytellers were our very own Rotarians, Rebecca Grignon-Ricker and also Ren Morrison. You all were amazing. Amazing. If you've not heard their stories, I encourage you to do so. Maybe we can put you on up here one week. Okay, there we go. All right, here we go. Also, Gilda's Club of Kentuckiana in the news, Karen Morrison again. Independence Bank, Louis Straub was in the news, and salute the big tower when you go through St. Matthews there. Say hi, Louis, and honk. Miranda Construction with Jeremy Hopurka, and also LPX Construction, our very own Matthew Riggle, Michael Bryant, Luke Fitzgerald, and Jason Smith in the spotlight. Okay, here we go. Round of applause for all that. All right. Yeah, we're still growing. We don't stop. We have no cap on the number of members we can have in our club. So I'm going to invite 3 folks to join me at the podium for your official Rotary Club of Louisville induction. I need a drum roll. Terry Barnes, Kimberly Moore. Oh, you all are so good. Kimberly Moore and Shallow Smallbone. Please join me up front. And as they're making their way up front, as you know, I will make some formal induction remarks to you and then to our members. Everybody come over okay. Come right over this way. Here we go. And then I'm going to invite your sponsors to join us up here shortly. Come on over. Don't be afraid, because they like us all in the same shot. Okay, here we go. Fellow Rotarians, as you know, we seek to grow our membership, not only to increase the size of our club, but more importantly, to increase the impact of our club, an impact of the service above self model that we live by in our community and as we travel. So we also want to grow the influence of our club. All right, are y'all ready? Yes. Kimberly's a nervous wreck over there. I've never known her to be nervous. Okay, so I will say to you, our 3 new inductees, you've been selected to membership in our club because we believe that you possess the qualities and the characteristics that will lead each of you to exemplify the 4-way test and the model service above self. You're being admitted, as I've already said twice, to the 12th largest club in America. Everybody go, ooh-ah. Okay. And more importantly, there are more than 45,000 clubs across the planet. That's right. So do like Andre did. Go and visit when you travel. And you are going to be welcome there at any time. Now, you will get whatever you want to get out of your Rotary experience. And it is the good old-fashioned social science. People get you get out of it what you put into it. Jump in here, come to the meetings, jump on the service projects, get on a committee, and Terrian has already agreed to be vice chair of the invocation committee next year. And it was Terrian that said to me in one of the 110 recruiting phone calls that I made, she said, oh my gosh, Barbara, this came at the exact time. You're gonna help me find my Rotary rhythm. Terrian, let's have your Rotary rhythm.
I love this. Where are my sponsors? I have the best sponsors, sorry guys, in the world, and they are Mary Ellen Harnett and Susan Zepeda. My mom always says we're not from Louisville, we're from Texas, so we're from the Texas Shiloh. But we got here as soon as we could. I say the same thing. I'm not a Rotarian. I wasn't born into the Rotary, but I got here as soon as I could. I am deeply 10 toes down in the community. I love volunteering. I love this community. My mom is my role model when it comes to giving back and committing. I just joined as a Paul Harris Fellow. I brought shoes and put them in the box. And I'm sure if I'm forgetting anything, my sponsors will remind me what I'm supposed to do. Well, last week I signed up and forgot to come, so first thing is to be here now. Thank you very much.
We're going to stand up here, and I want Susan Zepeda and Mary Ellen Harnett to please join Terrian as you slide to the right. It's not exactly the electric slide, but here you go. All right, slide over this way. Kimberly, you're going to be up next, and I need Amy to join me. Amy Luttrell, please stand with Kim, because she's very nervous. And then Shiloh, well, I'm going to invite Alisa Gray to join and stand next to Shiloh. Okay, Kim, I love you, dear. You ready? Okay.
I'm not really nervous, but Barbara will make you nervous. I'm Kim Clark, the CEO of Joshua Community Connectors, which is a nonprofit in West Louisville addressing mental health and homelessness and gun violence. Josh Crawford came in late. He's the director of GBI. So those guys at that table are the people that have kept me safe for the last 7 or 8 years. But what I really want to start with is, I used to be homeless. So in 1998, I got sober, October 5th, 1998. If you would have ever told me that my life would have took this turn, I didn't mess with the police then, but I mess with them now. And Barbara Saxon and I come from 2 totally opposite ends of the earth. So, I rose up through the ranks. I worked for Fisher. I got to know Martha. And God gave me some of the greatest people in the world to lead me on this journey. And so I always like to say that I want to work with people that want to do good instead of feel good. So that's what the work is all about. And so I really believe in servant leadership, and those guys at that table will tell you, I'll say this and I'll close, we be on the phone sometimes 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning when people get killed because we're impacted, because those are the people that we've been working with. So I know some of the people in this room have never been touched by gun violence, but if we lose one kid in this city, we all lose. And so even though you don't live in West Louisville, you're not impacted by that, you are impacted by that if you sit back and you do nothing. So I'll close with this. I'm able to have some real uncomfortable conversations from the governor to the attorney general to the mayor, and I'm able to really have truthful conversations about what's really going on. I don't care what your political party is. I don't do business with Republicans, Democrats, and Democrats. I do business with good people.
Shiloh, as it's your turn.
Okay, that's really hard to follow. First, I want to say thank you so much to President-elect Barbara Sexton-Smith for such a warm welcome. Appreciate you. And I also want to say thank you to Alisa Gray and Chris Burek, who could not be here today, who are my sponsors. I was introduced to Rotary last spring. Actually, it was my first build with Habitat last spring, and it was such a neat experience to be a part of that professionally. But also, I met so many incredible people that day. Just had such an honest and authentic desire to serve others, and that was so different from my corporate job. So it was really exciting, and I really appreciated that. And then Chris was so kind and took me to some meetings last fall, and then I was able this year to join, and I actually made Rob join too, so our CEO. So yeah, so we are so excited to be a part of Rotary. It was really hard not to fall in love with such an amazing and inspirational group of people. I brought my son to a meeting 2 weeks ago who's graduating this year, and he just really loved it. It's just a breath of fresh air for us, and so I just really am excited to work along people. I'm excited. Prior to Rotary, I was really heavily involved in my children's schools and their extracurriculars, so I cannot wait. They're graduated just to get back into that world, and I've signed up to do a couple of the youth readings and things, so I'm excited about that. And I'm very excited, and I hope that you'll join us on May 15th for the Rotary Build with Habitat. You can fight Barbara for her job, you can hand out water. I didn't know what a hammer was or which screwdriver was which a year ago, so it's okay, we understand that. It's a great time, so please come and join us. And you can also just come at 11:30 and be blessed by our ground blessing. Our home buyer, I said home buyer because we're a hand up, not a hand out. Will speak, and they will have someone bless the house, and then we'll go in and we'll get to sign the studs and put words of blessings on that. So we'd love to have you just be a part of that. If you've not been to Habitat or aren't available that day, please come and join us. But thank you so much.
All right, so as all of you all slide over this way in front of the podium, we're getting ready for the new member photo shoot. Don't go too far, you gotta have the backdrop. And then I need all the sponsors, you've got to let go of that pen if you haven't given it to the new member yet. See, I knew Mary Ellen wanted to hold on to that pen. Okay, and we're gonna get real close together, and we're gonna have a fabulous picture. Kim, did you get your pen?
Yes.
Amy? Okay, and Amy Luttrell is Kim's sponsor, okay.
And thank you, Delene.
All right, we're gonna look over here. Thank you so much.
All right. You can place that pin high on the high so people see it when they shake your hand. Okay, now I want to invite to the podium one of the best darn presidents this club has ever had. None other than Lori Flannery, who is president and CEO of the Genes Foundation, to introduce this week's guest. Rotary? You are Lori. I'm gonna call you Rotary. Okay. All right, here you go.
Sorry, once you're Rotarian, you can be called Rotary, right? All right. Hello, everyone. I don't think I can match Barbara's energy, but I'll do my best. Alisa Gray is the president and CEO of the Kentucky Humane Society, leading the Commonwealth's largest animal welfare organization. She champions innovative, prevention-based approaches that strengthen both animal welfare and the communities they serve. Alisa began her career as a PR intern in animal welfare at the Lexington Humane Society. She later worked in community outreach at Louisville Metro Animal Services before joining the Kentucky Humane Society, being named CEO in 2023 after serving first in multiple leadership roles. Today, Alisa oversees animal rescue and adoption, veterinary services, humane education, disaster response, right, a lot of things you might not think about, and community outreach. Kentucky Humane Society is currently engaged in a $37 million effort to develop a new animal and community campus. When she's not leading KHS, Alisa serves as a Rotary Club board member, director member, for the world's 12th largest club, and is chair of our vitally important Lifeline Committee. She's actively involved with St. Raphael School, Dare to Care, Junior Achievement, and Habitat for Humanity. Alisa has been recognized as a Leadership Louisville 40 Under 40, a Business First Nonprofit Visionary Leader, and most recently was selected as one of the 5 On the Rise Leaders to Watch, right alongside the Power 50 of our region. She lives in the Highlands neighborhood of Louisville with her husband Josh and their 7-year-old son Weller, and their dog, of course, Winston. And they also have 2 turtles. Please welcome fellow Rotarian Alisa Gray.
Hello. I have to shout out Karen Morrison real fast again too. Story Fest last week, if anyone attended, it was incredible. There's no way I can compare it to what you did. That was amazing. She won everything. So congratulations. Okay. And Lori Flannery, Lori was my prior CEO. Lori, thank you so much for the very nice introduction. You invited me to Rotary about 4 years ago, and I'm very proud and honored to be a part of this club. I gotta show you my turtles and my dog. So when I was a kid, there was a creek behind our house, and if you needed to find me, I was probably in that creek, turning over rocks, finding turtles, catching whatever needed to be rescued. Looking back, my wonderful parents who are here today probably thought that was just a phase, or hoped it was just a phase. Turns out it was actually what I would do with my life. Today, I want to talk to you about something that most of us think is personal, but I've come to believe that is deeply civic. Because animal welfare isn't separate from the health of a city, it's connected to family, stability, public health, housing, and the strength of our communities. That instinct to help things that needed care started early for me, and it wasn't just animals. My grandmother was a full-time volunteer and a huge influence in my life. When I was about 10 years old, she started taking me with her to deliver Meals on Wheels to seniors. It was one of the first times I saw how one small act of kindness could make a real difference in someone's day. There's my grandma. Habitat. And I also worked at Wayside Christian Mission leading their bike program. So once I started volunteering, I really never stopped. I didn't have the language for animal welfare back then. I just knew if something or someone was in need, it mattered. When I got to the University of Kentucky, I found my way into animal welfare through a public relations internship at the Lexington Humane Society. And I remember thinking very clearly, this is it. This is what I'm meant to be. Later, I came to Louisville Metro Animal Services doing community outreach, and that's where something really shifted for me. Because I realized pretty quickly, the animals were never the only story. The animals brought me to the work, but the people kept me here. I eventually joined the Kentucky Humane Society as the development manager. Over the years, I had the opportunity to grow through different roles, and in 2023, I became the CEO. Across every chapter, Lexington Humane, Metro Animal Services, and now KHS, I've learned the same lesson. When community supports people, animals do better. And when animals do better, communities do better too. So let me start with something simple. Quick show of hands, who has ever owned a pet or has a pet now? Keep your hands up. Do you call those pets your family? That's what I thought. Thank you. So for most households, pets aren't just a side note. 97% of Americans say that pets are family. So here's the question I want to explore with you today. What happens when a family hits a crisis? When life is stable, loving a pet is easy. But when life gets hard, that's when the safety net really matters. Imagine your cat stops eating, or your dog suddenly can't walk. You do what responsible people do. You go to the vet.
And then you hear the estimate. It's more than you can cover without missing rent, or skipping a utility bill, or putting off your own medical care, or telling your child not this season when they ask to play soccer. Or imagine a different kind of crisis, housing. You finally have a place you can afford, you've got stable housing, your dog is loved, vaccinated, and well-behaved, and then your landlord says, new policy. Dogs under 20 pounds, or over 20 pounds aren't allowed. In that moment, people aren't thinking about animal welfare as an abstract idea. They're thinking, how do I keep my family together? How do I keep my life from unraveling? And that's why I say animals brought me to this work, but the people kept me here. Because animal welfare today is inseparable from what's happening with affordability, access to care, housing, and basic family stability. So let me zoom out for a minute. Across Kentucky and across the United States, animal shelters are strained. Many are over capacity. And I want to be very clear. This is not because people stop caring. It's because several pressures on families changed, and COVID changed the system in ways that we are still experiencing and will experience for a very long time. Several forces hit at once. First, during COVID, spay-neuter access dropped dramatically. Clinics closed or reduced hours, people delayed routine care, and that created a ripple effect. More litters, more animals being born year after year. We're still seeing those waves. Second, veterinary care has become harder for families to afford. When preventative care is out of reach, small problems turn into emergencies. A simple ear infection becomes a serious medical issue. A skin problem becomes something more complicated. A family who wants to do the right thing just can't get in the door early enough, or can't afford it when they do. Third, housing got tighter. Affordable, pet-friendly housing is hard to find, and restrictions can force impossible choices. In many ways, COVID took animal sheltering backwards about 10 years. A lot of the progress we have made as an industry, shorter lengths of stay, fewer animals in shelters, more prevention, got wiped out by volume and pressure. So what if we want a healthier system? The answer can't be only work harder inside of the shelter. The answer has to include prevention, supporting families early so fewer pets end up in crisis later. That's why the Kentucky Humane Society has evolved into something more than a place where animals come when all else has failed. We are increasingly a safety net, designed to keep people and pets together whenever possible. Let me give you some real-life examples of what that looks like in Louisville. One of the most important partnerships we have is with the Center for Women and Families through our Safe Haven program. Here's why Safe Haven matters. For someone trying to leave an unsafe situation, a pet can become a real barrier. Many people stay in dangerous environments because they can't bear the thought of leaving a beloved animal behind, or because an abuser threatens harm to the pet in a way to control them. Safe Haven provides a temporary protective place for those pets while their owners take the critical steps towards safety and stability. And it allows someone to leave knowing that their pet is safe, cared for, and waiting for them on the other side. That's not just animal welfare, that's human safety, that's dignity, and that's community choosing to remove barriers for people in crisis. And we bring care directly to the community. You'll recognize some people on this next slide. Through our Caravan mobile clinic, we provide low-cost spay, neuter, and wellness care to underserved neighborhoods across Louisville and in rural communities throughout the state. Because when care is accessible, pets stay healthier and families stay stable. And I'm especially proud to share that Rotary has been part of this. For the past 3 years, Rotary has sponsored a full Caravan Clinic day at Louisville Central Community Center, providing free wellness and care for 50 pets each year. That means vaccinations, exams, preventative care, and many families otherwise could not access. It's a great example of how community partnerships can make a real difference. One family and one pet at a time. That's Rotary in action. And sometimes, despite everyone's best efforts, families are already in that impossible moment. I want to share one story that captures what many families are carrying right now. A family reached out to the Kentucky Humane Society desperate for help. Their cat Maisie was very sick. They had already done everything in their power, everything they could think of. They weren't irresponsible, they weren't neglectful, they were loving, and they were trying. In fact, they had even sold their car to pay for Maisie's care. Just sit with that for a moment. They sold their transportation, how they got to work, how they got to school, how they moved through life, because they loved their cat so very much and wanted to do the right thing. But even after selling their car, Maisie still needed one final surgery. At that point, they were simply out of options and money, and they reached out to us asking if we could help with humane euthanasia. When they called us, they weren't asking for sympathy, they were asking for a lifeline. KHS took Maisie into our care, provided the surgery at no cost, and when Maisie recovered, we were able to reunite her with her family. They thought they were coming to receive Maisie's remains. Instead, they were greeted with a very alive and very excited cat who immediately jumped into their little girl's arms. There were a lot of tears in that parking lot that day, including mine and our entire team. As I mentioned earlier, animals brought me here, but people kept me here. The people I have had the privilege of working alongside every day are true heroes. This field attracts some of the hardest working, most compassionate individuals I've ever known. These people who give everything during the day and then go home and open their doors again, fostering animals overnight, waking up for feedings, and doing it all over again the next morning. Just last Monday, we had 2 emergencies within hours of each other at night, and our team didn't hesitate. They jumped into action. At Willow Hope Farm, around 9 p.m., staff checking the cameras noticed Pearl, a very pregnant mare, pacing anxiously. Something wasn't right. Our equine technician, April, rushed in, and she arrived just in time. Pearl had delivered a beautiful foal, but the placenta hadn't broken naturally, and Mom was too exhausted to help. April stepped in, cleared the airway, and within minutes, that foal was walking. This is the next day. And just an hour later, across town, our veterinary team was in surgery, performing an emergency C-section to save Winnie the Pooch and her 3 puppies. 2 emergencies, 5 lives hanging in the balance, and a team that simply shows up. That is what they do every single day. They show up, they step in, and they save lives. In this work, there are so many stories. Some are heartbreaking, some are incredibly inspiring. Over the years, this work has taken me in many directions I could have never imagined. I've fostered over 100 dogs, been pepper sprayed, fed baby squirrels, gotten my CDL. Yes, I can drive a semi, it's a little scary. Advocated at the Capitol, chased feral horses on ATVs in eastern Kentucky, been on CNN, and so much more. To say I've been blessed with a dream career is truly an understatement, and honestly, I think I could make a pretty good book out of it. But one of the most meaningful memories for me was a dog named Betty Boop, named after my grandmother I mentioned earlier. We met Betty at the Houston SPCA after Hurricane Harvey. We spent 9 days there helping thousands of animals displaced by the storm, but Betty stuck with me and my team. All she wanted was love. We took her outside. You could tell it was likely the first time on grass. She had clearly been overbred, likely used for fighting. She had sores from being kept in a crate, and she was heartworm positive. She was, by every definition, a big mess. But she believed she was a lap dog, and we believed she deserved a chance. Getting her back to Kentucky wasn't easy. No airlines would take a pit bull. So we partnered with the small but mighty nonprofit Pilots for Paws. Betty made her way to us on 3 tiny planes. You can see her on a plane with 2 gentlemen right here. My husband and I picked her up in Frankfurt and brought her to our home to foster. I never forget her walking into our house for the first time. We have hardwood floors, and to her, those were terrifying. We ended up laying little pieces of carpet all over the house just so she could get around. She bonded quickly with her dog, but her anxiety was real, and it took her about 6 months to find the right home. But when we did, Betty became a therapy dog for a 4-year-old boy with autism, whose mom was a home health nurse. And that dog, who had every reason not to trust the world, gave exactly what that little boy needed. So Betty became a therapy dog for a 4-year-old boy with autism whose mom was a home health nurse. That dog, who had every reason not to trust the world, became exactly what the little boy needed. Betty taught me more about resilience and forgiveness than anything could ever. And while Betty's story is personal, the truth is it takes a system working together to make outcomes like that possible. We partner with over 100 counties in Kentucky and work closely with Louisville Metro Animal Services, because when the municipal shelter is under pressure, it hurts the whole city. One of the ways we help is by taking hundreds of ill and injured animals from MAS. We provide the medical care they need to cover those costs so those pets can heal and move forward to adoption. And just as importantly, the partnerships frees up space at MAS for incoming animals, especially during surges. But we also work upstream together. Louisville Metro Council is investing more than $200,000 in spay-neuter vouchers that families can use at our STEP clinic, funding over 3,000 surgeries a year. That's prevention in action. It reduces unplanned litters, lowers shelter intake over time, and helps the entire system stabilize. Now I want to talk to you about the future, because what we're building is not just about the animals, it's about the people. KHS is building a new animal and community campus, a $37 million project that is already 73% funded. And this is not just a bigger shelter. It's a prevention-focused hub designed around a simple idea. If we support people, we protect animals, and we strengthen the city. This campus will be located in South Louisville, just off Preston Highway by I-65 and the Waterson. We chose South Louisville intentionally because access matters. It's a central corridor for working families across Louisville. And for many households, affordable veterinary care and practical support are simply harder to reach than they should be. So what will this campus do differently? It will help families get care earlier before crisis hits. It will strengthen safety nets so people don't have to give up their pets they love. It will move animals into homes faster so we're not operating in constant emergency mode. And it will invest in the next generation through education and stronger disaster response. Summer camp is coming back if anybody got to experience that with their kids. People are excited. And the result is real, measurable impact. 13,000 spay and neuter surgeries, 6,000 low-cost veterinary visits, over 700 adoptions, and thousands of families every single year. That's not just growth, that's impact. A strong community is a stable one. When families can keep their pets, crisis surrenders go down. When crisis surrenders go down, shelters aren't in constant emergency mode. And when that happens, we improve public health, reduce strain on public systems, create a more stable city for everyone. That's what prevention really is, not a program, but infrastructure. At the Kentucky Humane Society Animal and Community Campus, this is how Louisville is building that infrastructure for families, for pets, and for the entire community. Thank you for caring about the kind of Louisville we're building, compassionate, practical, and strong. And now, who's taking the puppy home? Is someone really taking a puppy home with them today? Someone adopted a puppy over there? It was on hold, okay. Well, there's a lot of people out there, they really want to take a dog home. How do they get to be able to take their dog home? Okay, and if there's more than one of you that would like, right, if there's more than one, you'll be able to help us out, right? Okay, all right, fellow Rotarians, now it's your turn to ask questions of Alisa. So please make your way up here to the microphone. And as you're making your way, of course we have guidelines to help you in asking your questions. This is not the time to tell your favorite pet story. Alisa will stay and listen to all of those. And then just introduce yourself and ask Alisa your question. Alisa, we'll trade places.
Hi, Alisa, Tim Grossman. Thanks for giving me the heads up on what to wear for the meeting today. Go Big Wood. I got a long story to tell you. Actually, I have a sad story to tell you. We had to put our dog down yesterday. it's amazing how important a dog becomes to your family. Because we have kids that are 25, 27 now. And it was really hard for my wife and I, but also for them. So, but my question is, I've read and heard a lot about rescue dogs. I know that's part of what you guys do. We happen to need a hyperallergenic dog, and I wonder whether that's something that is something we can do through you guys. And if you could just tell me a little bit about the process.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
So we get animals from all over the state, and about 30% come from rural Kentucky, and a lot of those are puppies. Some of those, in all honesty, have been bred in a puppy mill or where there's high breeds that can help with that allergies. So we also get about 25% purebreds at the shelter, which a lot of people don't think. They think it's mutts or mixes. So you can always reach out to us, and we can put you on a list of what you're looking for, and then give you a call if something comes in. And there's also some other rescues out there too. So what you're looking for, just Google that, and there may be a rescue specific to that breed. Sorry again about your loss, Ken.
Hi, Alisa. Sandra Dodge, longtime foster for Kentucky Humane Society. We foster puppies from 3 to 8 weeks old, and my floor is a testament to that. As a dog, we have 4 dogs, 2 cats. Our house is chaos. We love it. But when we foster, we get food, we get all the little treats, all the little blankets. If there's any problems with our fosters, we have veterinary care 24/7 available to us. It's an amazing program that you guys run, and what I'm curious about is how can everybody here in this room support the foster program specifically, because I'm a champion for that too, and what does it take to become a foster, because it's really cool to foster. So,
do I need to pay you for that promotion? Thank you for doing that. We have over 450 foster families, and it's incredible. You really just open your home and have a space and provide love. We provide everything. So all the materials, any medical care you would need, we get them ready for adoption. If you're going out of town, maybe in 3 weeks, we can say, okay, here's 2 puppies that need some socialization for 2 weeks, and you can bring them back. So we make it very easy for you. If you have other animals or kids in your home, we'll set you up for success. And yes, it's very easy to get involved. There's an orientation, and depending on your comfort level, less or more, we just want to give you as much support as possible. And then, yeah, we'll set you up. You can donate to the Kentucky Humane Society, yes. KYHumane.org. Thank you, Sandra.
John Bush. I've been a member of this club since 1993.
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Okay. I'm John Bush. I'm the past president of the club. I've been a member of this club since 1993, and I've seen well over 1,000 presentations. Yours today, thank you first of all for coming and speaking to us. But yours today, again, is another testament to the fact that many times, the best presentations we hear are from the members of our own club. So thank you. On the other end of the scale. This has to do with better. I'm sorry, I wanted to ask you a question on the other end of the scale. This has to do with veterinary school. As far as I know, we only have one in the state at the University of Kentucky. I grew up in Lexington. It's always been that way. Growing up in Lexington, being around thoroughbred industry for large animal vets, having plenty of pets ourselves, growing up for small animal vets, I've always appreciated who they are. But I saw one of your slides mention that we are we have the 14th least number of vets in the state and the country. And so I'm wondering what is being done to try to change that. And before you answer, if I could add one more thing. I've always been aware that Auburn University and the University of Kentucky have had exchange programs. They don't have a dental school. We allow some of their students to come to our dental school. They allow us to go to their vet school. When I just Googled it a minute ago, there's only 37 positions that they hold down there for our citizens. Obviously, we need a lot more than that. So is there anything being done, and if so, what is being done to try to remedy that so we have more vets of all shapes, sizes, and for all shapes, sizes, and whatever of animals?
That's a great, very in-depth question. And if anyone wants to be a veterinarian, I will give you a contract right now. We need them desperately. It's very unfortunate. We are in a significant veterinary crisis. There's many facets to it. It is the leading career for suicide because unfortunately veterinarians have to euthanize animals that they don't want to because it usually costs a family that just can't care for that animal and pay whatever's needed. But also it takes a very long time. It's longer to go to vet school than to become a doctor. And there's not many places that have that availability. So 37 spots. Right now, if Auburn University, when that group of 37 graduates, there are 16 job openings in the vet field right now. So you think about it, and a lot of those people, they are just starting to really push shelter medicine in the vet schools. So a lot of them are unaware of it. So like for the Kentucky Humane Society, we are fortunate, and this is rare for most rescues and shelters, but we have the finance to do anything and everything to save an animal. Our veterinarian, Dr. Emily Bewley, she has taught herself surgeries on YouTube because if we don't try it, that animal's going to die, and she's saved hundreds that way. So she's lucky she can do that because we have a great community of supporters, but not many shelters have that option. So they are euthanizing a higher level of animals, and there's not many coming to our field. They are right now trying to work on getting more schooling in Kentucky. LMU, which is on the Tennessee-Kentucky border, they have a vet school and a vet tech school. Part of our new facility is, one of the biggest parts of it is education. So we will have a lot more training spots for veterinarians to come and do practicums with us and learn, and something called wet labs. So we'll be able to teach veterinarians high volume spay neuter, because a lot of veterinarians right now, if you go to a regular practice, they may do 5 surgeries a day, or I'm sorry, 5 surgeries a week. We do 75 surgeries a day at our SNP clinic. So it's a problem. I mean, it's a very big problem. There's not a quick fix to it. It's awareness, I think. I think a lot of people had no idea. And it's not just cat and dog. I mean, we're in Kentucky, it's livestock. It's a big issue in rural Kentucky.
All right, Liz, I'm Dan Icicle, and I've got about 10 questions for you, but I'll limit it to 1 or 2. I'd love to hear your stories. You sound like you've got some great experiences for this book, so you should come back and tell us your stories every week. So, when my youngest son was in middle school, there's a horse farm out in Baghdad, Kentucky. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's called Stormhaven. And what they did is it was a therapy horse farm for sexually abused girls and abused horses. And so the guys would go out on Saturdays to help the family that owned the horse farm with maintenance, and then we would leave before the girls got there. When I was looking at your facility that you're building, I was wondering, because I'm aware of other therapy horse farms, and animals are such therapeutic things for people with so many sad things that have happened to them, trauma. Are there any plans for any types of things at the Humane Society maybe in the future where people could come in for therapy purposes and volunteer I saw so much. So I was just wondering if there are any plans for that.
We definitely want to expand on that, and adding education back into our main mission will increase a lot of that, going into schools, going into hospitals potentially. Honestly, right now we do puppy visits at workplaces, and stress right now is pretty high, so it's just nice for therapy to take a break and pet a puppy for an hour. But we also do at our Willow Hill Farms, or equine farm, we have done different things like that. We do equine assisted learning, and actually Rotary sponsors that every year for a nonprofit group to be a part of that. Fair Care is doing it next week, next Tuesday. So that's something we would like to increase. It just kind of depends on, we have a new equine director coming in, and she has a lot of expertise in that. So definitely stay tuned. I think we'll have some things in the future. Thank you for volunteering a few weeks ago.
Right.
Thank you very much for your talk today. It's, my wife and I have adopted a number of dogs every now and then, rescues and so forth from time to time. I kind of, we're zero right now. Just,
There's one over there.
no. Not right now. But we love, animals are family. Just one thing I wanted to mention, there was one announcement that was missed. It was the zoo social. 52 Rotarians signed up for it. Thank you very much. And I want to also mention Dan Maloney had a triple bypass a couple of months ago, may not be aware of it. He's going to be there, and he'll be talking about the zoo and some travel things that he has planned with the zoo and other folks. But just want to mention he's going to be there and that he had, he's coming back, he's part-time. But thank you very much. That's all. I just want to say, and thank you.
Dan has a really cool story. I don't know if you've heard, he's done Rotary before. Yes. And his wife, Laura Maloney, she was actually my coach when I was going through my CEO transition. And she was in charge of the SPCA in New Orleans during Hurricane Katrina. They're a fabulous family. We're both big animal lovers, so love the zoo as well.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. And I know Dr. Thompson is going to be, are you going to be going to the zoo to the spring plan? Okay, excellent. I got lucky on that. I had to ask you ahead of time. All right, so Alisa, thank you so much for being with us today, not just as a member, but as our special featured speaker. So we have a small gift for you, a token of our appreciation. It is the official Rotary International Challenge coin, and it has Paul Harris's image on the front. It says that we were founded in Chicago in 1905, and on the back is the four-way test. All on that little bitty coin. There it is, of all the things we say, think, and do. So thank you again, Alisa. Okay, fellow Rotarians, as we get ready to wind up another great week at Rotary here at the University Club, I want to give you a little commercial about next week's speaker. So how do we go from the Kentucky Humane Society to the Director of Engagement for the National Water, STV organization? Well, animals can't do what they do without water. Okay, true that? So here we go. Next week's speaker is going to be Amira Palacios, and she is the Director of Engagement for the National Water, STV, and she's going to talk about what we should know about PFAS. You may think of that, PFAS, that is polyfluoroalkyl, which are forever chemicals that we find in our water supply. We here in Louisville take it for granted because we have, proven by contest, the #1 drinking water in the country, which means in the world. We take our system for granted. We don't ever have issues with the water being pure and clear and clean and wonderful. However, we got a lot to think about because these PFAS find their way into our water supply, and Amira is going to talk about that. She is known on the national level. I don't know if raise your hands if anybody's ever heard Amira speak before. Okay, so next week, bring a water buddy, okay? It's like, we're getting ready to have summer. I got to promote swimming buddies and water and so forth. So here we go. It's spring flowers. It's starting to rain, so I'm on the water thing. All right, here we go. Next week, scan the QR code, make your reservation. If you forget to do that today, please let Deline or Tracy know by noon on next Monday and join us next week. And guests, we got the What is Rotary table over there. I hope you'll stop by. We are adjourned.